ونعم الوكيل نعم المولى ونعم النصير الحمد لله رب العالمين والحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين شفيع ذنوبنا وطبيب قلوبنا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. Mu'min mu'minat, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We've been discussing different points related to human beings. I have tried to explain the importance of human beings, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has expressed what human beings are, how important they are in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then I tried to explain the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the biggest blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on human beings is that He has blessed us with a power known as aql, intellect, wisdom. And this is the power which differentiates between us and all other creations of the universe. I have tried to explain that because of this power, we can think, we can decide, we can move ahead, we can move back, we can plan, we can program. And this itself proves that we are having freedom, we are having choice, we have the power to select what we want to do and to reject what we don't want to do. Of course, there are many other things which are involved in it, but the basic power of decision is there. And that is why you see, a very simple example I will be giving to you. Can I request my younger brothers to come ahead, because it is against the respect and sanctity that youngsters are sitting on the chair, or from tomorrow we shall remove the chairs. Only when elders come we will put the chairs so that elders can sit on them. Those who cannot sit, thank you. Recite aloud a salawat, please. So now we are slowly and steadily going ahead with our discussion. And from the previous discussion, we conclude that we human beings have the power of decision. We can think and we can make laws for ourselves. Now I'll give you an example. You might laugh, but this example is important. Can you make laws for animals how to move in the jungle? No. Can you fix timings for animals that they should come out at this time and they should go in at that time? Can you fix the laws that animals should eat this and they should not eat this? No. Why? Because they have been predestined. They have a set pattern of life. With sunrise they come out excuse me, and with sunset they go in. With their instinct they understand they should eat this, and with their instinct they understand they should not eat this. Can you imagine when the death of a dog starts coming, it slowly and steadily goes at a place which is remote. When these birds always flying around, when the time of death comes, they themselves understand and reach a place. Salawat. But all this has been given to them by the Creator, who has fixed a pattern on which they are living on day-to-day basis. But when it comes to human beings, you fix laws. This way, you have to drive the car. This direction you can move, this direction you cannot move. Here you have to stop, here you can't stop. Here you have to park, here you don't have to park. You see, thousands of laws have been made, isn't it so? For whom? For human beings. Why? Because they have power to understand. They have power to follow. They have power to decide. They know how to go ahead or how to come back. So this proves that human beings have the power. Then I had told you that human beings are made up of two things. One is body and one soul. Today we'll go ahead of it and we'll discuss that what has to be done. Why we have been sent in this world. What are the realities and what are the virtualities of this life, of the present age. And then we realize either we are going in the right direction or in the wrong direction. So my brothers and sisters, try to understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us, just a small revision, blessed us with aql, given us freedom, and then has asked us that this Quran is the way of guidance, book of guidance. Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam are there to guide you. Now it is your decision whether you want to accept the guidance or you don't want to accept the guidance. If you accept it, well and good. If you don't accept it, He is not going to punish you at the moment. At times, we think why we have been created. The simple answer is we have been created in this world so that we go towards perfection through tazkiyah nafs. And at the time of death, our soul becomes perfect because of all these practices. And in the next life, we are going to have our duties. What are the duties? I am not going to discuss at the moment. So the whole exercise in this world is that we go towards perfection. And what is the perfection direction? The direction has been given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that if you follow Islam, inna dina indallahil Islam. It becomes so easier for you. Yesterday I had given an example in my Persian language that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had not sent the Quran for us, if He had not sent the prophets for us, if He had not sent Aimam Masumin for us, and He would have said that, oh human beings, I have given you aql. Now you go ahead, find out what is good for you, what is bad for you. What would have happened? Can you ever think about it? We would not have reached the results which we have reached so easily. We would have not found what is good for us to eat and what is harmful for us to eat. Just the matter of zabiha. Think over it. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has guided us. That you can eat these animals, you should not eat those animals. You should eat these things, you should not eat these things. If you want to eat these animals, you should slaughter it in this way. Why He has said all this? Is that He likes that all these things should be done or no? He knows this is good for human beings and that is bad for human beings. So whatever wajibat, slight attention, and inshallah I'll try to pass the message nicely today also, that whatever has been made compulsory, it is not actual compulsory, it is good for us. But to make people understand the importance of that thing, we say it is wajib, it is farz, it is must. Actually it's not wajib, it is not farz, it is not must, it is good for us. And it is said in philosophy that whatever is good for us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it compulsory for us. And whatever is harmful for human beings, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it haram. Here we understand That wajib is wajib not because Allah wants that we should do His ibadat. Allah has millions and millions, rather billions, rather trillions of angels who are doing His ibadat. Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam says, recite a salawat. Excuse me. That there are angels who were created when the universe was created, and they are in the form of sajda till today. There are angels who were created when the universe were created, and they are in the form of ruku till today. They don't know universe has been created. And millions of years have passed. So if Allah wanted us to do sajda, it would have been better to create angels in place of human beings. But He says, no, I will create, and I have created human beings because I know by creating them, I'll give them a chance to go towards perfection. And those who accept the way of perfection, they will be successful, and in their next life, they will be having much more better life than this life. And those who don't accept, of course, at times some people ask that why Allah needs to have Jahannam. Isn't it a good question? Why Allah has created Jahannam? The simple answer is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not create Jahannam as we have in our mind. Actually, we create all those things for Jahannam, and Jahannam goes on burning. A wrong action from us creates a fire in Jahannam. A bad action from us creates that fire in Jahannam. As when we do a good thing, a good brick is put over there in Jannah. And that is when Prophet Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. Let's have a combined salawat. When he was taken to heavens, he saw angels are working, and then they sit down, then they start work, then they sit down. Prophet asked, what's the philosophy behind it? Angels replied, Jibreel replied, O Prophet, when a moment performs a good action, just a simple saying of Subhanallah, Walhamdulillah, Wa la ilaha illallah, Wallahu Akbar, when he praises Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this praise is turned into the form of material for Jannah. And more good things he performs, better Jannat is created. Similarly, if he performs a wrong thing, Jahannam site starts construction. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not want anyone to go to hell. Be sure about it. Quran is there. I can prove it from them. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not want us to go to hell. The reality is, now we are coming to the point. The reality is that He has created all of us so that all human beings go to heavens. Then what will happen to Jahannam? No need. Why? Because if He wanted us to go to Jahannam, He would not have sent us guides. He would not have sent us the book. He would not send us, give us aql so that we can be guided. He would have created us, left us, and at the end He was said, you could not do anything in this world, now go to hell. No. He loves us, He cares for us, and He cares for us more than 70 times what a mother cares for a child. So again, the reality is that we have been created, we have been guided, we have been given the guidance. The only thing is that He has not forced us to follow Islam. He does not want us to follow Islam with force. He wants us to follow Islam out of love of Creator. And if we start loving our Creator the way our Creator loves us, if you see towards the ayat which are there in Holy Quran regarding the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you'll be surprised. At many places Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you see, recite a salawat please. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna Allah yuhibbul muqsiteen. Allah loves those who care for the justice. And if you are just, doing justice to yourself, Allah loves you. If you try to be in a tahir condition, in a purification condition, Inna Allah yuhibbul mutatahhirin. Those who try to be in a purification condition, this means, and many examples are there, I don't want to use my time for that. Just a brief, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves us and He wants us to recognize Him through our intellect, through our aql. That is why Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam says, recite a salawat. Tafakkur sa'atin afdalu min ibadati sab'ina sana. This is a very sensitive point. That if you ponder in the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for some time, what do? You go to a reserve or to a park, to a garden, wherever you want to go. At your home, mashallah, New Zealand is green, and I think its name should have been Greenland in place of New Zealand. Quite green. Everywhere you see signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For a minute you see the bird, the color of the birds. I don't know the name of the bird which is here, which is your national bird. But I was just sitting and wondering how color difference is there in it. How it takes out its food from the grass. Who has guided it that this should be eaten, this should not be eaten. This, a minute or two of pondering in the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you will realize that how powerful I am. Again, Amir Muhammad salam says, Man arafa nafsa faqad arafa rabba. If you recognize your own self, nafs has different meanings. I don't want to go in the meanings of nafs. That if you recognize yourself, you will recognize your Lord. Isn't it surprising that we have thousands of signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in ourselves, but we hardly have time to recognize it? Today we have to recognize and we have to understand the reality is that we have to love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because He has blessed us with so many blessings that we cannot even count them. I gave a very simple example somewhere. I said, if you just think what blessings you have, you'll be surprised and shocked. But we don't have time. Our computers have taken our time. Our laptops have taken our time. Our iPads have taken our time. I'll say our iPads have taken our time. We don't have time to ponder in the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that how He has created us. And still science is doing research and research and research. Just think about the smelling process. Then with your smelling power, you can recognize what is good, what is bad. Just think of your tongue. That how you taste a good thing and a bad thing. Leave that. Think of your eyes. Once I was having a short course somewhere and I said that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had decided that whosoever does not obey Him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take away that gift from him. Just imagine somebody looks at Namayaram, his eyes get black for one day. A sister comes out of her house without hijab and all her hairs are gone away. Just imagine if someone listens to haram thing, his power of listening goes away for one day. Just like electricity goes away in Pakistan. Just think of it, that if we eat haram thing, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, okay, now for 24 hours you cannot have anything. And if you have spoken something wrong, you cannot breathe for 1 minute. My God. Can you stop your breath for a minute? No. That is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. Which of the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala you are going to neglect? I have given you everything what you wanted. So my brothers and my sisters, my emphasis is, the reality is that we are not forced to accept Islam. We cannot be forced to accept Islam the way we have accepted. We have to understand Islam through aql, through signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through blessings we are having in our head. And once we have accepted, then Islam says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu udkhulu fis silmi kaffa. O believers, now you enter in Islam completely. Why? Very simple, very simple. I'll just give a very simple example and try to understand. When I landed in New Zealand, I saw a notification, continuously written, if you have any eatable item, either drop it or get ready for fine. I said, it's not for me, it's for those who are New Zealanders. I think they are called as Kiwis also, I don't mind that. Then I stepped ahead, then I saw the same thing. I said, it's not for me. Finally, when I reached the custom officer, and he asked me, do you have anything for eating? Yes, I said, yes. Then why you did not drop them? I said, these laws are not for me. I don't like to obey these laws. What should be her answer? I said, yes, you are a nice person. You don't want to obey the laws of New Zealand? No problem, go ahead. We don't mind that. Was it a correct answer from her? Do we accept this answer from her? Anyone from the behind? The person, he was a male, he quickly said, Mister, either you declare these things or you will be fined for that. I said, Mister, I am not an Aussie, I am not a Kiwi, I am not a New Zealander, not Australian. I don't like to follow your rules. They said, okay, if you don't want to follow the rules, no problem. You can enter New Zealand and live as you like. Is it okay? All faces are surprised, huh? How is it possible? It may be possible somewhere else in Pakistan, in other places, but not in New Zealand. Then when I entered, I rented a car, and I like to drive on the left side, not on the right side. I practiced left-hand driving, not right-hand driving. I started driving on the left-hand side, and the police came and said, hey, mister, who are you? I said, I'm Pakistani. Don't you know that here you have to have a right-hand driving system? I said, okay, you have made a law, but I don't like to follow that law. I have a habit of driving on the left. He said, mister, what are you doing? What will they do? Either they will be kicking me out of the New Zealand, or they will be putting me in where? Where? In the madhouse. Why? Why? Because they will say that had you been a normal person, you would have obeyed the laws of New Zealand from day one. Why? Because once you have entered New Zealand, it means you have accepted that you are bound with all the laws. Minded what? Here. In Jagir Vikonan Marathon, right? Here you get caught. That when it comes to New Zealand, you have to follow every rule, and any rule you break, if you are caught, you are fined, you are imprisoned, or whatever may be done, and maybe at a stage you might be sent back to some place else. But Bichore Islam, poor Islam. If you follow it, Allah says, oh, what a nice person you are. If you don't follow it, Allah can't do anything to you. Is it so? Is it so, my brothers? Is it so, my sisters? No. Why there is a double standard in our life when it comes to the laws of New Zealand? I'll give you as an example. Recite a salawat, please. It was past 2 a.m. after midnight, and I was going with some youngsters. It was minus 25 degrees. Minus 20, you cannot even imagine. It was completely frozen. Hardly you could find the road. We reached a very small alley or a street, and there was a board written STOP. It is short form of what? STOP. Short form of what? Stop. It has no short form. It means stop. And the youngster, of course, my very close relative, he just stopped there. I said, I'd like to speak this sentence in Farsi. Diwane shudi, in saate do nimeshab guzashte. No one is there to see you. No one is there to catch you. No one is there to find you. No one is there to even care for you. Even then you are stopping. He said, stop means STOP. We have to stop. Even for a second or two, we have to apply the brake. I said, you should have slowed down. But you may not have stopped. Said, no, either we follow the rules or we might face problems. I said, I just did it like that. I said, why? Then if 2 a.m. in the morning in Toronto, in a small alley, if a STOP stop sign is there, a youngster is ready to stop there and not accept my words to move like that. And when Islam says stop, when this Quran says stop, when Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam says stop, we feel, oh, okay, we'll think over it. I think this law is not a very, very good law for nowadays. I think this law has been old. The hijab law is 1400 years old. We don't need to follow it now. Now the hijab is of eyes, not of the body. See? Why? Here comes. The reality is that we all follow laws, but with a condition that if we like it, we follow it, and if we don't like, we don't follow. In Islam, we do like that, but when it comes to the law of the country, we follow every rule and every law as far as it's possible. So now you understand? The reality is that we should have followed the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Because He knows what is good for us. He knows what is bad for us. And here comes the Karbala, that why Sayyid al-Shuhada Imam Hussain alayhi salam stood up in such a difficult position. And you see how he says very clearly that when he came out of Makkah, you see the stop matter over here. When he was coming out of Makkah at the night, he called elders of Muslim society. You can imagine, it was almost 7th of Zilhijjah. Can't imagine. Big personalities had come over there. They were all around. And when Sayyid al-Shuhada came over and started talking, that come on brothers, I am going to take a decision and I am going towards Kufa. The basic and the main reason is that very simply says Allahu Akbar. The khutbah is, I'll just read few sentences from it and then I'll go towards Masaib. Alhamdulillah wa ma sha Allah wa la quwwata illa billah. خط الموت على ولد آدم خط القلادة على جيد الفتى. Now he starts saying, Who? Sayyid al-Shuhada. When? He's starting from Makkah. That there is no power except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then he uses a word. You know what? That death has been written on human beings just like the color of the ornament which in Arab days ladies used to wear, and due to sun tanning, when they used to take out, the whole design used to come in on their body. Or just like if we wear watch and go in the sun, we come out, there is a slight sign of it, just sun tanning. Imam says that death has been written for all of us just like the sun tanning of the garland of a lady who wears it for a long time, and the whole sign of garland comes on her neck. وَمَا أَوْلَهَنِي إِلَىٰ أَسْلَافِ إِشْتِيَاقِ يَعْقُوبِ إِلَىٰ Yusuf. The way Hazrat Yaqub alayhi salam wanted to meet Hazrat Yusuf, I like to meet my elders much more than that. I want to go and meet my prophet, my grandfather, my father, my mother. أنا لاقيه كأني وأوصالي يتقطع أصلان الفلوات بين النواويس والكربلاء. Now I am taking a path in which those ruthless animals are going to cut us into pieces. See, he's clearly speaking that I am taking a path where I will be cut into pieces. Those who are joining me, they should be ready to understand this, that they will be slaughtered and they will be martyred between Nawawis and Karbala. And there are places which is near Karbala, and then he points out that we will reach Karbala and there will be slaughtered like anything. فَيَمْلَآنَ مِنِّي أَكْرَاشًا جَوْفًا, and they will fill their stomachs with our flesh and with our meat. It does not mean that they will eat our meat, but they will slaughter us, and our slaughtering will go in their accounts. Allahu Akbar. Then says, La mahisa an yawmin khutta bil qalami. When a thing has been written by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have to follow it. There is no way out. Ridallahi ridana. Allah's happiness is our happiness. We Ahlul Bayt have been brought up like that we like only what Allah likes and we dislike only what Allah dislikes. Nasbiru ala bala'i. We are going to have patience on what is going to come on us. وَيُوفِينَ أُجُورَ الصَّابِرِينَ, and we will be given the reward of those who have patience. لَن نَشُذَّ عَنْ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ لَحْمَتُهُ وَهِيَ مَجْمُوعَةٌ لَهُ فِي حَفِيرَةِ الْقُدْسِ. We have not been distanced from Prophet so much. We shall go and reach to Prophet very soon. تَقَرُّ بِهِمْ عَيْنُهُ. We are those who used to make Prophet's eyes cool. He used to feel happy when he used to see us. وَيَنْجَرُ بِهِمْ وَعَدَهُ مِنْ مَنْ. And the promise which I had given to my grandfather Prophet, I'm going to fulfill that promise. And then says, مَنْ كَانَ بَاذِلًا مُحْجَتَهُ وَمُعَدِّنًا إِلَىٰ لِقَاءِ اللَّهِ نَفْسَهُ. Whosoever is ready to get slaughtered in the way of Allah. See, Sayyid Shuhada is very clearly explaining that those who are ready to get slaughtered in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then they should come. I am going to leave tomorrow morning, and there he says that I am not coming out just like that. I am coming out for Amr bil Maroof, Nahi anil Munkar. Uridu an amura bil Maroof wa anha anil Munkar wa asiru basirat jaddi wa abi. I am going to follow the path of my grandfather and my father, and my mother has given me this training. Allahu Akbar. Can you imagine? People are getting ready to assist Imam Hussain alayhi salam. One by one is coming. Oh Imam, I would like to come with you. I would like to join you. Some people join Imam alayhi salam. They reach Karbala. Can you imagine? In Karbala, Imam alayhi salam, in the night of Ashra, calls all of them. Allahu Akbar. What a situation it was that at the night of Ashura, I'll be repeating this again and again. He calls people and says that you have done a lot for me. Just imagine people in Karbala The night has almost taken off. It's complete silence in Karbala, and Sayyid al-Shuhada collects all his soldiers, everyone, and says, now I am ready to tell you one thing, that tomorrow they want to kill me only. They have nothing to do with you. Why you people are trying to help me out? Go away. Take someone with you so that you don't feel shy. One by one, Ashab al-Hussein stands up and says, Yabna Rasulullah, Ya Aba Abdullah, what will tell to your mother on the day of judgment that why we left Hussein alayhi salam alone in Karbala? What shall be our answer? What shall be our reply to your grandfather on the day of judgment? What shall we tell to Amir al-Mu'mineen? Oh, son of Prophet, give us chance to sacrifice ourselves. Azadara. It was a very, very difficult situation. Can you imagine that on the day of Ashura, everyone is doing wasiyat, everyone is telling other, if I get killed, take care of Sayyid al-Shuhada. If we get killed, Imam alayhi salam will be alone, so everyone should take care of it. And a time comes that a son of 11 years age, he was not son of Imam Hassan or Imam Hussein, rather son of one of the shuhadas of Karbala. When he sees his father has been martyred, he just runs towards Maqtal. And Sayyid al-Shuhada says, catch this youngster. And he is caught and he is brought back. Imam alayhi salam says, where are you going? He said, I am going to assist you. I am going to defend you, Aqa. Imam alayhi salam must have cried, oh youngster, 11 years old, go to your mother might be waiting for you. He said, oh Mawla, oh Ya Hussein, my mother has sent me so that I can fight for you, I can defend you. Allahu Akbar. What happened? He got martyred. Sayyid al-Shuhada brought him, his body, and then mother said, Rabbana, taqabbal minna. These are the roles played by ladies in Karbala. Once the son is slaughtered, they did not feel bad. Rather they said, oh Allah, accept our sacrifice in the way of Hussein alayhi salam. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-aliyyil azim. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Rizal bi qada'ihi wa tasliman li amri la ma'budu siwa. Oh Allah, accept our azadar in the best form as is possible. Oh Allah, accept our prayers. Oh Allah, excuse our sins. Oh Allah, Allahumma ajjal li waliyika al-faraj waj'alna min ansarihi wa